Yes. So the homework. So the homework of last week was translate quite a lot of homework for a change. Translate some sentences, conjugate some verbs, and come up with some questions. So hoping not really increasing difficulty, but some gradient of difficulty. So I will ask someone. Now, maybe I can just for this the first one I'll try. Maybe you've warmed up enough to me that this will work. Because can someone translate the first sentence for me? Could you pay the bill? How would you translate that in Dutch?
I can try.
Yeah.
Kunt u de rekening betalen?
Yeah, very good. What? Kunt u de rekening betalen? Very good. Of you could also say, wil u de rekening betalen? Or if you want to be really fancy, you could say, zou u de rekening willen or kunnen betalen? That sounds even fancier, but you don't need to do that. Kunt u de rekening betalen? Wil u de rekening betalen? Zou u de rekening willen betalen? Very good. All right, the second one. Please open the door. I have money. Anyone?
I could try this one.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Alsjeblieft openen de deur. Ik heb geld.
Yeah, very good. Alsjeblieft. This is a form that we haven't gone over yet. So you said openen, which is the infinitive, but here it's open as in the imperative, which is like open, like an order. And in Dutch, you would do that by just using the stem, but we haven't taught you that yet, so it makes sense you didn't know. And it would just be open de deur. Ik heb geld. Very good. Alsjeblieft, open de deur. Ik heb geld.
Can I just ask something about that?
Oh, yeah.
Alsjeblieft, does it have to be at the beginning and then comma and then the rest? Or can you say, open alsjeblieft de deur, blah, blah, blah?
Yeah, that could also be. Or you could say, open de deur alsjeblieft. Ik heb geld. As long as it's, I mean, you can't just put it anywhere, but those positions are also valid, yeah.
Okay.
And I think the one I would use is open de deur alsjeblieft. Ik heb geld. Because it is an order, and you would put the verb at the start in an order.
Okay, thanks.
Cool. Okay, so 3. Do you have room for 35 people?
I can try.
Yeah, go for it.
Is it heb je plaats voor 35 mensen?
Yeah, very good. Heb je or heeft u plaats voor, I should write this out, 35, I'm not sure if this is still in frame. It still is. Mensen. Yes, very good, question mark. Very good question mark. Good, okay, 4. Yeah, this sentence was wrong. So ignore the first order. So it's I want to order. Can I order already? May I order, please? A lot of ways to use this phrase.
Maybe I'll try.
Yeah.
Ik wil bestellen.
Mm-hmm.
Kan ik al bestellen?
Mm-hmm.
And mag ik bestellen?
Yes, very good. mag ik bestellen? Or for the last one, you could also say, zou ik mogen bestellen? Very good. Great job. All right. 5. No, I have never been here before, but it looks very cozy. So I'm turning on someone who wants to try, or no? Okay. Well, then I will do this one because it's kind of difficult because it has a present perfect in there and we haven't seen it yet. So no is just nee. I've never been here before, and in Dutch you would say ik ben hier nog nooit geweest. So this construction we have not seen yet. Maar het ziet er erg gezellig uit. So this is a pretty difficult sentence because you haven't seen this, you haven't seen this splitting up of this thing, you haven't seen that. So if you got somewhere close to here, very good job. If you didn't quite approximate this, that's totally fine. This is a difficult sentence. So, nee, ik ben hier nog nooit geweest, maar het ziet er erg gezellig uit. Great.
What does erg mean?
So erg means very.
Yeah, and
And er
yeah.
means, it's a very weird word that means a lot of different things. But it means approximately there. You can think that's the closest equivalent word. So it looks very cozy there. And you need to use this word here in Dutch.
Thanks.
Yeah. If you want to learn more about this word, join the intermediate course next semester. And we have a whole lesson about it. Because it's very weird. Erg raar. All right. Then let's go through the other ones a bit more quickly. So, 2. I will do the first 5. And then I will ask someone else to do the other 5. So I hope if someone feels like it, then mentally prepare yourself already. And otherwise, I will ask someone. So first, Erik and Peter are in a restaurant. Are in a restaurant, mixing a bit of Dutch and English. So Erik asks, we al bestellen? Ik verhonger hier. And the correct one would be mogen we al bestellen. No? Mogen, not mogel. Mogen we al bestellen. Maybe, can we order yet? Maybe order yet. I'm starving. 2. Ober, u even wachten meneer, ik kom er zo aan. So, this would be, kunt u even wachten meneer, ik kom er zo aan. Can you wait a second, sir? I'll be there soon. 3, and of course, if you have any questions, please interrupt me. U misschien iets drinken? Wilt u misschien iets drinken? Do you maybe want to drink something? 4. Erik asks, ik even de wijnkaart zien, ik heb zo'n dorst. Mag ik even de wijnkaart zien? May I see the wine card? Can I see the wine card menu? Wine menu for a second? I'm so thirsty. 5. Wat we doen, Pieter? Wat zullen we doen, Pieter? What shall we do, Pieter? What shall we get? And then finally, Peter. Peter is aan het woord. So, does someone want to give me the next 5?
I could try.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Okay. Ik wil het liefst in droge rode wijn.
Yes, very good.
Dan kunt u het beste de Malbec nemen.
Perfect.
En zal ik dan een vodka Red Bull van u mag?
Almost. Here it should be mogen.
Mogen, okay.
Because it's we already have zou in the first thing. That's the conjugated verb, and then we just have the infinitive mogen at the end. But that's a bit of a tricky one.
Can I just ask what this question, the sentence means?
Yeah, I will go through them all afterwards.
Thanks.
Oké, ik zal u ook de menukaart brengen. En finally, wat wil jij eten, Eric?
Perfect. Very good. So, very good. Got almost all of them. So, in total, I will just do the last 6, I will say. Peter says, ik wil het liefst een droge rode wijn. Which means, I would like the most to have a dry red wine. It's kind of a difficult word to translate again. Then the waiter, Ober, says, dan kunt u het beste de Malbec nemen. Then it would be best to take the Malbec. Then Peter says, en zou ik dan een vodka Red Bull van u mogen? And could I then have a vodka Red Bull from you? Sounds kind of weird to ask that from the waiter, but that's kind of common in Dutch. So yeah, so maybe in short it's just, and could I then have a vodka Red Bull? Again, Erik is a very, Peter is ordering twice here. This number 8 should be Erik, because he's a nasty person. And 9, the waiter, okay. Ik zal u ook de menukaart brengen. I will also bring you the menu, the main menu. And then 10, Peter says, wat wil jij eten, Erik? What do you want to eat, Eric? And then they will surely have some nice discussion about what to eat. Cool. Okay, this one is a bit more difficult, and I won't go through it right now. I think I might write down the answers to this in the break, but for now we will move on. But before we do that, do you have any questions about what we covered last week, or just in general?
Can I ask something about this exercise? You translated number 8 as could I then have vodka from you? But the form is ik zal mogen, and that's could I? But it's shall may, or what?
Oh yeah, wait. I think actually, I'm not sure if the person who spoke. Sorry, I don't know exactly who you were. Said zal, but it should have been zou. Sorry, zou mogen. So that is the form that we covered. It's the formal way to ask for something. You can see it here. Zou ik mogen?
Yeah.
And so yeah, that means may I have or could I have a thing.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay. Thanks.
Cool.
I also have another question, quick. So similar to that, right? For number 2 and number 7, you have to say kan, not kan.
Yeah, you have to say here. You have to say in because it says u.
Yeah.
And normally, if it's a jij or je,
That's
then you would say kan or kun, je of jij. Doesn't really matter. These are interchangeable. But because it's u, you don't drop the t here, so it is kunt u, and you can't say kan u.
Okay.
Although that doesn't sound awful, but for u you almost always use kunt.
Okay.
Kunt u, kan u. No, it's not. Okay, sorry, it's not wrong. But you would use this more. I'm not sure what that is, but you would use this more often.
Okay.
If that was I think that was your question, right? Or maybe I misinterpreted it.
No, yeah, that was it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? Cool. Okay. Then let's move on to the main course. Get it? Because we were just talking about restaurants. Yes. I don't know. First, het woord van de week. Het woord van de week, that's a very fun word, is leuk. So repeat after me. Leuk. Great job. So leuk means, so for those who care, here's the IPA. Of course, you don't want to miss that. Leuk means fun, nice, just generally kind of good. It's kind of similar to lekker, but it is more broadly applicable. So lekker is already very applicable, but lekker means more like, oh yeah, nice. This is very chill, very comfortable, good. And leuk is more like, oh yeah, nice. Oh, this is quite decent. So if you went to a party and you said, how was it? Oh yeah, it was leuk. It was fun. It wasn't like, wow, fantastic. But you couldn't, for instance, say of a party that it was lekker. How was the party? Het was lekker. That sounds kind of weird. You can say, oh yeah, het is een lekker feestje. This is een lekker feestje. This is a fun party. But you can't use it like that. The is. So you can't use it predicatively for everything. We will talk about adjectives and whatnot, not next week, but the week after that. And you can just use this for anything. You can just call it anything leuk if it's fun, nice, good. Very common, one of the most commonly used adjectives, I think, by Dutch people. It's like, oh, leuk. You can say it very weirdly to me, leuk. But leuk. Okay, now it sounds weird to me. Fun word. Be sure to use it. Then, finally, we move on to the main thing. Klokkijken. So this is the main thing why I wanted to use the board, because doing that with slides is always a bit confusing. So I assume, this does assume you know how to tell time on an analog clock in English. And if not, I think you'll manage to figure it out. So, of course, we have a nice clock. And the clock has a big handle. I'm so good at drawing. And a small handle, so it's, I guess, approximately this time, whatever. Okay, I'll draw the things. 6, 7, 8. Beautiful. Okay, so as you know, in English, if it is this time, you would say it's 6 o'clock, or it's 6. Cool. In Dutch, if it is this time, you would say, so you always prefix, if you want to say what time it is, you say het is, and then you say, for big thing here, het is 6 uur. So just say it is 6 hour, basically. Het is 6 uur. You could also say het is 6. You would probably say it is 6 uur. 6 uur.
I don't know if it's just me, but I can't see the top of the clock.
No, that is probably not just you. Well, then I'll just make the clock again. And you can also not see what I wrote down there.
No.
Thanks for warning me. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Loop. I can do this quickly. So here you would say, het is 6 uur. Cool. Now I hear you ask, what about other times? Thanks for asking. If it is like this, 5 past, you would say, het is 5 over 6. You would not say het is 5 over 6 uur. That sounds weird. Just 5 past 6. You also won't say 5 past 6 o'clock in English. Cool. Here, it's the same, but then it becomes 10 over 6. Not very exciting. Ooh, quarter past. Things are getting kind of weird. But yeah, not good. You would then say het is kwart over 6. Het is kwart over 6. It's a quarter past 6. Wow, very cool. Now, here's where things get weird. So in English, you would just say, if the big hand moves to here, you would just say it's 20 past 6, or this 6:20 maybe. whatever, however you want to say it. In Dutch, you can say that, but that's not the most common way. But so let's go over that first. You could say, het is 20 over 6. And I will recommend that you say it like this. But there are two ways to say this in Dutch, and there's a bit of a regional difference. I don't really know where which regions they are and where they say this differently, because this is not the way I would say it, and not the way you would hear it on the news or, more importantly, in the train station. So what you would hear is that het is 10 voor 6:30, which is wild. So to understand this, I mean, I think you can get what it means, but to kind of dig in, 6:30 is just, okay, let's move this boy a little bit over, is this. It's 6:30, it's 6:30. Half means half to. In like British English, I think if you say 7:30, it means 7:30, but in Dutch it means 6:30. So 6:30 is 6:30. I shouldn't do that. That's confusing because that's not the time it is. This is 6:30. Or 18:30. You pronounce those the exact same. We never say 18:30. I'm not sure if there are languages. I think I asked this in class at some point, and I think someone said yes. I think there are some languages that say 18:30. But in Dutch, you never say that. Unless you are on a military base, maybe. I think they do that. 1800 hours. But then, okay, so it's 7:30, but that's not really the time, right? It was 20 past 6. So you can say 20 over 6, or you can say it is 10 to 7, which is really a roundabout way of telling time. I'm not sure how this came about. I'm not sure who. I feel like there was just some guy who was really anal about it, about saying, no, 20 past 6, that sounds ridiculous. We have been doing this for hundreds of years. We should keep doing it like this. And it's completely ridiculous. But you need to know it because people say this a lot. And otherwise you'll be confused. And I don't want you to be confused. I want you to be very clear of mind. So it is 10 voor 6:30. Now, I think you can guess what this would be then. Of course, it's 5 voor 6:30. Very cool. And then we move to 6:30. I should clean this up a bit. We move to 6:30 and it is 6:30. All right. Now, I feel like maybe you can guess how you would say this. Anyone want to gander a guess? I believe in you.
5 over 7:30.
Perfect. Indeed, het is 5 over 6:30. Cool. So, now, the same goes for this. 10 voor 6:30. And then here we start entering sane person territory again. And it is, then we get to 7:15. Very nice. And then it is 10 voor 7, 5 voor 7, and then 7 uur again. And then you just go round and round and round. I think the rest is kind of, I don't think I have to do this for every hour. It kind of works the same. Maybe the only, I think they work same. If it is this time, it's 12 uur, 12 o'clock. And so if it is this time, you can't see that shit, sorry. If it is midnight, that is 12 uur. And if it is, just before midnight, it is just the same as calling this 12. So this is 5 voor 12. There's like a Dutch game show that's called 10 voor 12, which is really boring. Okay, now you know how to tell time in Dutch. Cool, because there is, wait, no. Do you have any questions about this?
Maybe if there's a word for midnight? Or...
Midnight.
Yeah.
That's a good question. Yes, there is a word. The word is Yeah, now that I think about it, it sounds kind of cool. Middernacht. Middernacht. So like midnight, but there's this der here. I'm not sure what that. I'm not sure. This is not really a word you ever see anywhere else. Mid or the middle is usually middle with an L, but here we have an R because it sounds cool, I guess. Middernacht. We don't have a word for noon. That's just 12 here. And if you want to distinguish between saying it is AM or PM, you would say just the time of day it is. So it is 6 in the morning, or it is 12. Well, 12 is always a bit different if it's 3 at night instead of 3 in the afternoon. But if you make an appointment with someone at 3, unless you are buying some ketamine from them, you're probably doing that at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Any other questions?
I was also gonna say, I think the trains use military time. So
Yeah, really?
well, I think someone told me that. I can't recall now because it's been so long since I've been on a train. But I think they have to, right? Because you have to know whether it's evening, and they won't say like in the evening when it's like on the boards and when they're reading it. I think they say like 18:30 or something like
You're totally
that.
right. Yeah. But they sometimes they also say it in normal people talk, but they also indeed sometimes say it in military time. So they indeed sometimes say 17 uur 53.
Yeah.
To be very clear about when it is. Because indeed, if you say, I think that is indeed clearer than if you say 7 to 6,
Mhm.
then people have to do like mental calculations and you don't want to do that because they're late for their train.
Yeah, or if you just say 5, then you have to say savond or whatever. Whereas
Yeah,
if you
indeed.
say 17, it's more specific so people don't miss their trains.
No, indeed. I really can't. I feel like that they also say it like this, but in the advanced course, there's even exercise where I let people listen to train station
Oh.
announcements. And they have to figure it out. But
It's
now even
in
can't
another
figure out
class.
what they use. But
Yeah,
good.
it was in another class, so I think it's also a thing.
Yeah, I mean, at least on the trains I've been on here, they do say it in military time.
Okay, well, that's good to know. But luckily, you already know your numbers, so military time is very easy to follow. But in general, you wouldn't really use military time. It sounds. Yeah, I mean, you can use it. People understand you, but yeah. Okay, cool. Good question. Or question. Point. All right. Any other questions? No? Okay. Then please start doing exercise 1 in your booklet. You just have to write down time. I'll give you like 5 minutes for it. I don't think it's that difficult. Oh. I broke my light. Oh, that's going to be a problem. While you do that, I'm going to fix my light. Yeah, I did it. Look, the light has been there a while. It's an actual light bulb. I didn't even sell these anymore. All right. Hope you're done. Let's discuss. So, gonna ask people now. See. Juliette, could you give me the first 4?
Me?
Yes.
Okay. So half 6,
Perfect.
then 5.
5 euro, I would say.
Oh yeah, 5 euro. Then kwart voor 3.
Yes. And finally,
Sorry.
and the last one?
Kwart over 11.
Yes. Very good. Kwart over 11. Great. Okay. Then, so Rijf, could you do the next 4?
Yep. So, het is 6 over half 6.
Yes.
Goed.
Over half.
Kwart voor 3.
Oh, what did you say? Sorry. So the 6 over half.
Half 6.
Yeah, it is 6 over half 8.
Okay.
Because it's half 2. It is the 2.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
No worries.
I've written it like 2 ways. I've got the blip. Okay. Yeah. Het is kwart voor 3.
Yes.
Okay. 11 voor 4.
Yes.
11. And 7 over 11.
Perfect. Great job. Over 11. Okay, and then Ida, could you do the next 4?
Yes, the first one is like 729.
Yes.
The second one is 12 2.
And yeah, the other 2 are a bit difficult to say, I guess.
Yeah.
I will just write those down. Thank you. You know, like approximately. Here is the 11, and here is the 4. Just okay. And 4 to half 3. It's like no. Yeah, I think you get it. Okay, cool. Great job. Okay, so now you know how to tell time in Dutch, but how do we speak time? Okay, and that's not a good segue, but let's learn about the past simple. I will try to do this quickly, and then we can have a break. So the past simple is, okay, now I'm not going to do it. It's okay, I'm going to do it anyway. It's very simple, haha. There are 2 kinds of verbs in the past simple. We have the regular verbs, just like in the present simple, and we have the irregular verbs, or the strong verbs, we call them in Dutch. So we have the reg, and we have the irreg, or strong. Unlike the present simple, however, there's a lot more of these than in the present simple. I'm not sure what the ratio is between regular and irregular, but it's pretty even, I would say. So in the present simple, we know there's only 7 irregular verbs, and we've treated them all. So those are the modal auxiliary verbs and the and hebben en zijn. And now that's it. Gaan, I don't really count as irregular. But in the present simple, it's like half of them. And so you will have to learn most of the irregular verbs kind of by heart, just like in English. There are a few things you can use to distinguish whether one is irregular or regular. That's not true. There's one thing you can use, and that is that most verbs that are irregular in English are also irregular in Dutch. And this has like a 75% correspondence based on a very rough calculation I did. Depends on how you count it. But it's a pretty good rule of thumb. So if you see a Dutch verb and you know what it means, or you want to use a Dutch verb and you know what it means because you know that you want to use it, and you know it's irregular in English, say drinking, then you can sort of assume it's also irregular in Dutch. Now, does this help you know what the irregular form is? No, unfortunately not. There are a lot of irregular forms, and there are some patterns within them, just like in English. Like you have drink, drank, drunk, and you have swim, swam, swam. Those kind of patterns, you know, they kind of work. You also have those in Dutch, but there's like so many of them. It's like 13 different patterns, and I think beating you over the head with those patterns will not help you. I will put a file in the Files tab where you can see that if you are interested. But don't feel like you have to learn that by heart. This just comes from a lot of exposure, and if you want to drilling, I mean that's how I learned the irregular verbs in English in high school. Just a lot of freaking drilling. I'm not going to drill you because I think it's very boring, but it is worth trying. Well, I don't know, being aware of it and maybe trying to learn some of them. Duolingo has some irregular, I will assign you those this week, so you don't have to look it up. Some irregular verbs lessons where you get exposed to some of them, but of course you can't get exposed to all of them. There's just too many. So for now, we'll focus mostly on the regular verbs, and I'll tell you some irregular verbs later. So the regular verbs, there are also kind of weird, but not as weird. I think I should also tell you, that's not in the slides, but when do you use the past simple? For now, it's good enough to just use it anytime you talk about the past, because we haven't taught you any other way of talking about the past yet. The other way is the present perfect. In the past perfect, we rarely use that. But if you want to know anyway, it is in your booklet. Cool. So it is referred to events that took place in the past and that don't have any effect on the current situation. Like if you said, "Oh yeah, my birthday was last year." It's like, okay, that doesn't really tell me anything. It also, when you're talking about a certain period of the past, like historical facts, you know, okay, the Second World War was from 1939 to 1945. Tweede Wereldoorlog was van 1939 tot 1945. Those use present simple, and most importantly, when you see this word in the part of the sentence where you want to talk about the past, this means then or when. So toen ik wakker werd, when I woke up, I got out of bed. Toen ik wakker werd, ging ik uit bed. Or stond ik op. So this is a very useful word to know. And I just erased it and I'll just write it down again. Toen, then or when. Ik ging naar school toen het ophield met regenen. I went to class when it stopped raining. It also means then in the sentence when you say, and then I went to school. It stopped raining and then I went to school. Het stopte met regenen en toen ging ik naar school. Toen. Now we have ignored when we use it, and we will just use it the whole time when we do this course. Because I won't get to the present perfect in this course, unfortunately. Go to the intermediate course next semester. But let's talk about how to make it. So it is a bit weird. I needed to draw a diagram. But it does make sense most of the time. So what we do is I'll just first write down how it forms. It is just the stem, the stem, and then you say, and you add den or ten. N is with the plural, and without it is for the singular. And then you're done. Cool. The question is, of course, when do you use T and when do you use D, or the other way around? And for that, we have the diagram. So we start with the infinitive, and then we take en away from that. So we have, and this is, and I'm going to ask, the crude stem. Cool. Then for the crude stem, not the stem, the crude stem, we ask, oh, does it end on a consonant in the word sexy, soft ketchup? If it does, yes. Can you still see that? No, not really. I'll just do it like this. I think, yeah, you can see that. If it does, even. Then you add TEN. And if it doesn't, then you add DEN. But you add that to the stem, not to the crude stem. That's very important, because otherwise it will go wrong, as we shall see in a bit. And that's it. You did it. You learned how to make the past simple. Now, I hear you ask, or not, maybe you don't care, why this word? Why sexy soft ketchup? Well, astute student, it is because all these letters are consonants, and they are, what's the word? Unvoiced consonants. I think I've talked about this before. So you don't use your voice box when pronouncing them. The opposite of unvoiced consonants are, of course, voiced consonants. And some of these have a direct counterpart, and some of them don't. But for instance, for the S, the voiced version is the Z. For the F, it is V. For the T, it is D. And for the K, I think it's like the G in goal. And for the it is the G in, I don't know, gracht. And for the P, it's B. So you can hear the difference. I think we went over this before. So the S, you have just a S. If you hold your finger here, you don't feel it vibrate. And if you say the Z, you feel your voice box vibrate. Z, Z, v, v, t, t, d, d, p, p, b, b. And so that's the difference. And the T is also unvoiced, and the D is voiced, clearly. And so we like to group those kinds of letters together because that's easier to pronounce. If you, for instance, compare saying, I mean, maybe that's not for you, maybe your language does that, but for Dutch people, it's very used to say kt, then kd, kd. It sounds kind of kd, a kind of an awkward transition in your mouth. And kt, that's easier because you don't have to suddenly start voicing. And same with the rest of the letters. Now, I say this like it is very easy, and we can let's do one example where it's easy. Favorite verb to use is werken. Werken, to work. So the infinitive minus en, we get werk. Cool. I should not use this color. That's confusing. Werk. Well, the K, is it in sexy soft ketchup? Yes. So we add a T. So it is werkte or werkten. So ik werkte vandaag aan mijn thesis. I worked on my thesis today. Or zij werkten hard aan something. They worked hard on something. Cool, very easy. And we know this is the stem for werken is the same as the stem for as the crude stem. So that's very easy. Now let's look at an annoying example, which is reizen. It's also always my favorite annoying example. So here, stem minus en, infinitive minus en, we get the Z. The Z is not in sexy salt ketchup. So we get stem plus DE. So you would say, oh yeah, cool. So we get reisde, sounds fine. But no, because the stem of reizen is not reis. Because we know to get the stem from the crude stem, we do the Dutch spelling rules. And one of those rules is no z's at the end of the stem. So instead we get the stem is reis with an S. But this rule suddenly does not stop applying. So the past simple of to travel is reisde or reisden, which is stupid because we had this whole rule to avoid these kinds of combinations. But I don't know, that's how it works. So it is reisde and not reiste. Reiste is incorrect. You have to use D. Now, luckily, having first an unvoiced and then a voiced sounds less awkward than having first a voiced and then an unvoiced. But still, it is kind of annoying. And it does only happen with V's and Z's. And those don't sound that weird. So it's not a K or a P. So rijpde, that sounds weird. But that won't happen with that. But this is just something to look out for. It's not very important if you're talking, but it does look wrong if you're writing. So, is that clear? Do you have any questions about this? No? Fantastic.
One question about how is the infinitive form of the Ryzen?
Of what? Which one?
The Ryzen.
That is the infinitive. Reizen is the infinitive.
And it is, I mean, it is not visible from on the board.
Oh, you can't see it. Okay.
Or set.
So this is Reizen. Like that.
Okay, sure.
Werken. Yes. Good.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Thank you.
Any more questions? No? All right. Let us then have a break. 10 minutes. And then we will continue with some exercises. Okay. See you in a bit. I will, in the break, I will write down and discuss the answers to the third homework. So in case you're interested, have a look or just look at the thing after I've written it all down. And of course, you're very welcome to ask me any questions in the meantime, regardless. How high can I go? I think like this. So first, I'm just gonna say the things, and just put me on mute if you find me annoying. The verhuurder answers. So the situation is that John is looking for a place to live while he's studying in Utrecht, like so many of us. And he finds an ad for a room on Kamernet. The ad looks kind of sketchy, and the ad doesn't specify anything particular. And John, being the desperate man that he is, he messages the person anyway, and asks a lot of questions to make sure it's not a scam. So the first one, the landlord, the verhuurder, says the kamer is 10 vierkante meter, and to which John asks, probably, hoe groot is de kamer? You could probably also ask hoeveel vierkante meter is de kamer, but I mean, you can just keep it short. How big is the room? Then John asks something else, and the landlord says, nee, de kamer is niet gemeubileerd. So no, the room is not furnished. So he probably asks, is the room furnished? Is de kamer gemeubileerd? So the landlord asks a yes-no question, and so it's without a question word. 3. John asks something again, and the verhuurder says, ja, de kamer heeft een balkon. So again, yes-no question. Heeft de kamer een balkon? Or if you want to be a bit fancier, you could say, or shorter, you could say, is er een balkon? is there a balcony? 5. Now 4, John asks something again. And the landlord says, u moet de keuken en de badkamer met 3 personen delen. So this one is kind of difficult because this construction we haven't seen. But you would probably say, met hoeveel mensen deel ik de badkamer? Or moet ik de badkamer delen? So how many people do I share the bathroom, or with how many people do I have to share the bathroom? And then landlord says with 3 people. Oh, en de keuken en de badkamer en de keuken. If you want to, you could also write it as met hoeveel mensen deel, no, you can ask deel ik de voorzieningen met anderen. Do I share the accommodations with other people? You know that I use these words. You could also say deel ik de badkamer and whatever with other people. So then the verhuurder says, no, you can't have pets. So John asks, mag or kan ik huisdieren? So that's a pet. House animal. And then landlord, of course, is Dick, and he says no, as landlords are. And then the landlord says, de huur is €350 per maand, which is pretty decent for Utrecht. So you can ask this in many ways. So you could say, hoe duur is de kamer? You probably would not ask it like that. So you say, how expensive is the room? It has the word expensive in it, so it already makes you sound like you're poor. Of course, you don't want to come across as poor. Huh? So you could say, hoeveel kost de kamer? Or hoeveel is de kamer? Or het per maand? 7. The landlord says, kunt u dinsdagmiddag? Are you available? Literally, can you Tuesday afternoon? And so John would ask something like, when can I see the room? Or when is the viewing? So something with wanneer kan ik de kamer zien? Dus of wanneer is de bezichtiging? Which is like, viewing. Or you could say what's more common with student houses. What's the word? Hospiteeravond. Hospice evening. Where you have to like sell yourself. Awful. You still see this? Yeah. And an 8. John says, yeah. And then he probably says something like, hoe laat? If you want to be polite, you could say, hoe laat komt u uit? So, what time? You could just say, what time? Because you don't want to waste words on the landlord. Or you could say, what time suits you? Or you could say, what time suits you the best? Het beste. Hoe laat komt u het beste uit? And then just for the recording, I will go through everything. So first, John asks, hoe groot is de kamer? The landlord says, De kamer is 10 vierkante meter. Is de kamer gemeubileerd? Nee, de kamer is niet gemeubileerd. Heeft de kamer een balkon? Of is er een balkon? Nee, ja, de kamer heeft een balkon. Oh, dat is nice. Met hoeveel mensen deel ik de badkamer en de keuken? Or met hoeveel mensen moet ik de badkamer en de keuken delen? Or deel ik de voorzieningen met anderen? En answer, u moet de keuken en de badkamer met 3 personen delen. Mag of kan ik huisdieren hebben? Nee, u mag geen huisdieren hebben. Hoe duur is de kamer? Of hoeveel kost de kamer? Of hoeveel is de kamer per maand? De huur is €350 per maand. Or you can say nee, you can't say hoeveel is de huur. That's probably also reasonable. You can't say hoe duur is de huur, even though that sounds very funny. Oké. Wanneer kan ik de kamer zien? Wanneer is de bezichtiging? Wanneer is de hospiteeravond? En then the landlord says, kunt u dinsdagmiddag? Can you come on Tuesday afternoon? And then John says, ja. Hoe laat komt u uit? Hoe laat komt u het beste uit? Of hoe laat? Om 4 uur 's middags. Translation. How large is the room? The room is 10 square meters. That is pretty tiny, by the way. That's not a really good deal for €350. Is the room furnished? No, the room is not furnished. Does the room have a balcony? Yes, the room has a balcony. With how many people do we share the bathroom and the kitchen? You have to share the bathroom and the kitchen with 3 people. Can I have pets? No, you can't have pets. How much is the rent? How much does the room cost? The rent is €350 a month. When can I see the room? When is the viewing? When is the hospice evening? Are you available on Tuesday afternoon? And John says, yes. What time suits you? And the landlord says, at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then we figured it out. Good job, team. All right, people are dribbling back in. I will look up the Duolingo scores. Welcome back. Here are the answers of exercise 3. Maybe you listened to my ramblings, maybe you didn't. So I check that. I will check your other homework. All right, we only had 2 this time. That's pretty doable. Let's see. Modals, the people who did that were Faith, Hannah. Again, I can't see which Hannah. The other Hannah did 2 out of 3, so that's good enough. Panajota and Rosita. And Save, you did 2 out of 3, pretty good. And the rest only did 1 out of 3 or none. I'm not sure, Juliet, you mentioned that you were not able to see it or didn't know if you...
Yeah, I looked at it and I was in 2 accounts, and now I'm trying to catch it up in the one that you sent to me.
Cool.
That's the one that you see, but then yeah, I think I can't do the ones without having done others before. So yeah.
Oh yeah, I did actually want to ask that if that's a problem. If you can't do the exercises, if I assign one that you aren't allowed to do yet, can you do it or not?
I didn't manage to today, for example. And then I'll have midterms next week, but after that I'll just go through the whole thing.
Okay. Don't feel pressured, it's completely of course.
But thanks for asking.
Okay, I should take that into account.
Do them though. I think you have access because, like, for mine, I didn't do the homework last week, but I could do the modals this week. for some of them. So I think the app allows you like whatever way you've set it up.
Yeah, same.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay.
Okay,
And,
good to know. Thanks.
okay, then for formal, Caitlin did it, Petros did it, both Hannahs, Hannah and Hannah, good job. Rosita, Panajota, and Thrive, very good. Oh, and then top 3. It always takes a little to load. Past week. Concerned. At number 3, with 148 experience, it was Kolaka. Good job. Then number 2 with 390 XP is Rosita. Good job. And then with 957 XP, once again at the top, Panajota. Good job. All right. I will assign the homework for next week, probably tomorrow. Well, the Duolingo, the normal homework, you know where it is. Okay, then let us move on. Unless you have any questions about this, let us move on to exercise 1. No, that is a bit more boring. Nah, okay, I think we can do both. Okay. But let's first do 1. Okay, so you can do for exercise 1 in your booklet. I guess it's actually exercise 2. I mislabeled them, but that happens all the time. Can't be bothered. Where you have to fill in the correct form of the past simple, what we just did. Do make sure though that you use that you check whether the verb is regular or irregular. And so you can see some irregular verbs in your word list here on page 29. And so we have some examples. Zijn, obviously, to be is irregular. It is was en dan waren. Hebben is irregular. That is hadden or had. Geven is gaven. Nemen is namen. Eten is aten. Drinken is dronken. Spreken, spraken. Gaan, gingen. Moeten, moesten. Mogen, mochten. Zullen, zouden. Etc. etc. There's a few that you should pay attention to. So I only listed the infinitive in the past simple and not the singular forms, because I know you know the spelling rules, so you know how to figure it out, but some are a bit tricky. So here we have, for instance, zouden is the past simple of zullen. So this is shall, this is should, but the singular is ik zou, and not, as you would expect, ik zoud. Ik zoud. No, it's just ik zou. Same goes for wouden. So that's the past simple of willen, which means want. This is ik wou, and not ik woud. For the rest, it's sort of straightforward. Just keep in mind the rules. So, for instance, ik. So it is wij gaven, we gave. And then it is, for instance, jij gaf. This is actually not how you normally would apply those rules. So it's gaven, and you would normally say ik gaaf if you would follow the normal infinitive to stem done going, but it's actually, I should have actually added that. Dus ik gaf, jij gaf. And aten, for instance, is also jij at and not jij aat. Yeah, I should have added that. But for instance, then for weirdly, it is wij deden, we did. But then it is wij, jij, or ik deed, and not ik dead or something. Whatever, you figure it out. If you mess this up, I forgive you. So good luck. I'll give you 5 minutes. Because I don't, let me know if you need more time. And also let me know if you don't need any more time and I'm just wasting yours. And if you're already done, try to translate the sentences always. Or I guess what's better is if you're done, you can start with exercise 2. This is a reading exercise. But I will give more in-depth explanation about that in a bit, although it's not that complicated. So look, 3 more minutes. I feel like that's too short. Is it too short? Yeah, 5 more minutes then. So could you let me know if you were done in the chat? That's very helpful for me. You don't have to be done. That's 2 minutes. Okay. Okay. It'd be time. Let's go through it quickly so we can still do the Kahoot on time for once. Okay, so first, I'm just gonna rapidly point out people. So Caitlin, could you give me the answer for the first one? And could you read the sentence out loud?
Yes. Hij geefde mij gisteren €2 uit de goedheid van zijn hart.
Yes, that would be correct. If geven was a regular verb, but unfortunately it is irregular. So you would use gaf here. Hij gaf mij €2. But indeed, geefde, that would be correct if it is a regular verb, and you couldn't really know. So good pronunciation as well. This means he gave me €2 yesterday from the goodness of his heart. 2, okay. Stefan, could you do 2 and read it out loud?
Okay, sorry. I recently got a puppy, so I was just kind of seeing about it. Okay.
That's a very good excuse.
Exercise 1, right?
Huh?
Number 2 in exercise 1?
Yes.
Okay, that's I got kind of confused with this exercise. Ik pakte.
Yes.
Is that correct?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, ik pakte gisteren mijn cadeau. I'm getting. Yeah?
Yeah. Cadeau.
Cadeau wheat. En moesten doen alsof ik het leuk vond.
Yes. It is indeed moesten is the correct infinitive, but since it is singular, it is about me. You can drop the en, and it is ik moest. But otherwise, correct. Yes, and it's indeed an irregular one. So good job. So ik pakte gisteren mijn cadeau uit. So cadeau is spelled the French way and pronounced somewhat along the lines of the French way. En moest doen alsof ik het leuk vond. So I unwrapped my present yesterday and had to pretend to like it. The burden we all bear. 3. Rosita.
So I think it's ergisteren or something.
Oh, I can't really hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Slightly.
Sorry, I'm just ergisteren or someone fietst, like that one. Zijn naar college. I don't know.
Okay, I can really barely hear you, so it was kind of hard for me to know what you said, but I think you conjugated it correctly. I think you said fietsten. Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, cool. It is indeed fietsten, or it is fietste, because it just says zij, and you don't know whether it is she or they. So the day before yesterday, they cycled to their lecture. Eergisteren fietsten zij naar college. 4. Okay. I'll do this one because we need to speed up a bit. Jullie, so boffen, we chop off the en. We have an f. F is in section of ketchup, so we add ten because it's a plural. And then we get rid of one of the f's because we don't need 2 f's. So it is boften. Vorig jaar met het weer. Binnen zitten zonder airconditioner was zo leuk. So was. So you boffen is being lucky. You were lucky with the weather last year. Sitting inside without an air conditioner was so much fun. As most people, Dutch people don't have an air conditioner. And it do be getting hot lately. 5. Simona.
Dronk mama een hele fles wijn.
Could you repeat that?
Gisteren, I don't know, dronk mama een hele fles wijn.
Yeah, perfect. Could you maybe gander a guess at what it means?
Yes. Mom drank a whole bottle of wine.
Oh, sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
Yesterday, mom drank a whole bottle of wine.
Yes, indeed. She do like wine. Very good. Okay, so I will do this one. Lisette en Rick eten vorige week patat. Lisette en Rick aten vorige week patat. So Lisette and Rick ate fries yesterday. So there's 2 ways to say fries in Dutch. You can say friet, or frieten if you're more Belgian, or you can say patat.
How do you say, sorry, Simona, you can go first. Or she didn't want to say something. Is patat, does it also mean something else, or just fries? Because in French it means, well, I don't, it's so easy, I don't remember the word. Kartoffel in German.
Oh,
sorry.
potato. Yeah, no, it just means fries.
Okay.
For reference, potato is
Potato, yes.
Is aardappel, which means earth apple. Because, yeah, yum. Apples from the earth, Mother Nature.
Thanks.
Good question. Okay, then 7. Panajota.
Oké, ja. Jij juichte toen iets te vroeg.
Yeah, perfect. So this, I'm not sure, don't think you know what this means, but if you do, okay. So juichen means to celebrate, to like, woo, go this. And so it says you celebrated a bit too soon back then, referring to some event. Finally, Bethany, could you do 8?
Hi, I wasn't sure about the second part, but I'll give it a go. Ik leesde gisteren een heel goed boek. And then I wasn't sure. Heb veel plaatjes?
Yes, that would be correct if both of them were regular. The first one you couldn't know because it's not in the list. I'm very sorry. But leesde indeed would be correct if it is regular. But since it is irregular, you didn't know, sorry. It is las, and the plural is lazen. So just like geven, which is gaf and gaven. Lezen is las and lazen. So there is some pattern here. So las, een heel goed boek. And the second one, that is also irregular. It's het had. Het had erg veel plaatjes. Yeah. So I read a very good book yesterday. It had a lot of pictures, which is very fun. Okay. So that was it for that exercise. And it's already, I was hoping to start the Kahoot early for once, but alas, I'm starting it when the lesson ends. So if you have to go, that's totally fine. If so, tot volgende week. Oefening 2 is huiswerk. Exercise 2 is homework. So please do that if you feel so inclined, or if you just do your homework. And also, before you leave, there is a questionnaire in the feedback channel, which a lot of you filled in. Very thankful. For those of you who haven't, please fill it in if you can, if you want to. All the questions are optional. Just fill in what you feel like. It helps a lot. Okay. in case if there are no more questions, then I will start up the Kahoot. Or if you have questions, let them know while I do.
Thanks for today. Have a good evening.
Have a good evening. Yes. Come on, teams. You can. Yeah, there we go. Okay, this is the code. By Gabrielle and Stefan and Bethany. I mean, you're already gone probably, but still. So 8. I think we are with. Yeah, we start with 8. Cool. Then can immediately start. That was, I think, the quickest we ever got this going. Good job, team. Okay, 12 questions or something. So question 1 is. That's 10 questions. Fine. You can select multiple answers. Hoe laat is het? 5 voor half 2, 5 over half 2, 25 over 1 of 25 over 2. Vote now on your phones. Yes. Very good. Most of you got it correct. It is 5 voor half 2 of 25 over 1. 25 looked very weird suddenly. Yeah, number 1 save. Good job. Number 2, true or false? Vinden, to find, is a regular verb. Yeah. I'm not exactly sure how you would be able to find this out, but it is not. Well, now you know. This is a teaching moment. It should be in that list. I mean, that would be a reasonable thing to do for me, but I didn't. It is irregular. The past tense is vonden, or ik vond. So those who got that correct, good job, I'm guessing, I guess. Or maybe you were very advanced in Duolingo and just knew that. I'm just going to assume that that's the case. Okay, cool. Fill in the correct conjugation of to go. Zij naar hun werk. Classic to go question. Zij gaat naar hun werk, zij gaan naar hun werk, zij gaan naar hun werk of zij gaan naar hun werk. Yes, gaan. I'm just realizing that I need to tell you one. Nah, I'll just skip that question. There's one question that I skipped over in treating. So, okay. Fill in the correct regular past tense of the verb. Hij erg goed gisteren. And the verb is darten. So is it darte, darte, dartde, or dart? He darted very good yesterday. This is the dart guy. Darts. Ooh, let's see. Ooh, only one person got it correct. Yeah, it is darte with 2 T's. I can hear you wonder, Thomas, didn't you say that we want to make words as small as possible? And that is true. But here it is kind of important to have the 2 T's, especially in the plural, because otherwise you can't tell the difference between the plural past simple and the past simple and the present simple when it's written. And so here we do keep the 2 T's. That is also useful to know. Now you'll never forget. And it's not darte, de, because the T is in sexy soft ketchup. And it's not dart, because that's the singular. I got it correct. Good job. Okay, typing. Conjugate the verb verven in the past tense. It is regular. Jullie, mijn huis. So you painted my house in the plural. Maybe that's too much. Nah, that's okay. Okay level of hint. Ooh, 3 seconds. Let's see who got it right. Ooh, there's a lot of answers here. One person got it correct. It is indeed verfden, because the stem is verf with an F, but the crude stem is with a V, and V is not in sexy soft ketchup, so you need to add a D. This is also one of those annoying ones. I put a lot of annoying questions in this quiz. So who got this correct? It's Caitlin. Great job. Okay, puzzle. Put things in the right order. When shall we meet? Afspreken we wanneer zullen? I think you can figure out from context what all the words are. Now it's just, what is the right order? We learned that yet last week. We just need one more person to answer. Oh, we got 9 people now. Good. A 9th person is taking the time. Good. It's good to think about things. Don't just jump headfirst into them. All right. The 9th person was deliberating strongly. Ah, nice. Most of you got it correct. Wanneer zullen we afspreken? So it's a question sentence. The question word goes first, then the conjugated verb, zullen, then the subject, and then we put the infinitive at the end of the sentence in modal questions, modal sentences. Good job. Okay, another quiz. Which clock corresponds to 12:10? 12:10. Yes, it is indeed clock C. Very good. Okay, yeah, this question I will skip. Just like in English, there are 2 words for autumn and fall in Dutch. I was quicker than you. This is false. We just have 1 word for fall, which is herfst. Herfst. So the names of the seasons, very quickly, I will go over them next week. Our spring is lente, summer is zomer, fall is herfst, and winter is winter. And the names of the months are in your booklet, which I'll also go over in a bit, but they're not so interesting. They're just kind of similar to the English ones. Okay, number 9. How do you say, what time is it in Dutch? Wat laat is het? Welke tijd is het? Wat voor tijd is het? En hoe laat is het? Yeah, you're all quick. Yes, it is indeed hoe laat is het. So it's not what late is it. It is not which time is it. It is not what kind of time is it. It is how late is it. Very good. That's all of you got it correct. Still some shifts. Ooh. Okay, final. As a typing answer, translate by. I've said this a couple of times. How do you say bye in Dutch? The shortest way possible. There's a few ways to say goodbye or bye, but not the shortest way. Okay, just the most common way, you know. Maybe I misled you with that hint. I hope I didn't. All right. Let's see. Doei. Someone did. Oh, but that's correct. Okay, cool. I put it as a correct one. Yes. Dag, tot ziens. Doei. Ah, shit. That would be a good segue to say bye, but I need to show who's the winner. Alas. Okay, number 3 with 4 out of 9 correct. Panajota, good job. 6 out of 9. Krutika. And 7 out of 9 it is. Caitlin. Good job. Good job. Good job all around. Number 4, Simona. Number 5, Ida. Good job. Good job, gang. And that was it for this week. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. Please fill in the form if you haven't yet. It would really help me out with knowing what worked. So for one, I knew that you wanted to have the Kahoot a bit earlier. It didn't succeed, but I did try this time. So next time I'll try even harder. But we'll make it. Okay. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. Tot volgende week.
Dankjewel. Doei.
Doei.
Bedankt. Doei.
Doei. Fijne avond.